Hey, hey, hot tubbers. I am Jackie, the hot tub lady, and you are listening to Tub Talk with the hot tub lady, recorded live here on this channel. And today we are going to be talking to Ben Lamb of Hot Spring Spas and Pool Tables 2 in Fargo, North Dakota. And today we are going to talk about cold weather hot tubbing. It's one of those things that definitely needs some attention, and we are going to bring Ben on here now. So, Ben, you are officially live, and welcome to the stream.
Jackie, the hot tub lady, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you today?
I'm very good. Yes, it is still cold here, but the sun is shining, and one of these days we are going to get spring.
It's coming. Again, I'm 90 miles south of you. It's better here, and then I work another 90 miles south of that, and it is improving. We do not have any snow on the ground in Sioux Falls, or very, very little. Just piles is all we've got going on there. So, let's talk a little bit. How are things up there in North Dakota? How's the weather? How the hot tubs? What do you have? What news do you have for people on the hot tub
Well,
situation?
bustling here. I myself, the last 2 weekends, I've spent my entire last 2 weekends at our big show venue, the Fargo Dome, which is a big indoor dome that we use for all sorts of stuff up here in Fargo, North Dakota. But this weekend it was the Red River Valley Sportsman Show and Expo, which is a really fun event that we have annually here, where all sorts of neat things show up, all the way from booking trips and hunting and fishing trips across the upper Midwest into Canada, to campers and camping and boats and boating and pontoons, and got to see a lot of neat products. And we were represented there with some of our inventory of what we are passionate about, and that's hot tubs and saunas and everything that will help make every day better for our customers. So it was a nice chance to see a lot of people, and it was nice to see there's a lot of interest in wellness and every day made better. And we got to meet a lot of folks that are now looking hard at their backyard and seeing where maybe a little bit of hydrotherapy, or like Vince and Steve Hammock like to say, a little medicine in a bowl might fit into their backyards.
Isn't that the greatest description ever? That was the first time I had heard that, and was last week at the meeting, and they described it as giant bowls of medicine, and I thought, wow, it couldn't be more true than that. That's what a hot tub actually is, and
We actually, it's true, and we actually filled a hot tub up. We took a hot spring pulse out there and got it all running and got the lights going. And it's just something how when you actually fill it with water and turn it on, the magic comes alive, and people can really see themselves in that. It's a lot. It's funny how a hot tub comes to life once there's water in it, just like the people who use them do.
oh, it is crazy, isn't it? And don't you just love when it's this cold out, especially in a situation like that, when there's a show and that type of thing, and you have them stick their hand in that water for 5 minutes, and the difference, that just the way their body moves, that you go from being really stiff and sore to like, wow, that's amazing. And that's just your hand. And if you can imagine your whole body, it's just wow.
It is incredible. In fact, I think we dodged a little bit of a bullet this weekend. We were expecting a snowstorm to pass through our area, which it did. Which it did. I think it went around us. But yeah, all the folks, and it was thousands of them that attended our show. They walked in out of near 0 degree Fahrenheit weather. And I know you have people who watch this show from all over the place, and not everyone is in the cold zone where we are. But this weekend in our state, where we had this show, everyone had their winter jackets on, earmuffs and gloves. So yeah, to come in and, just as they're thinking about it, just to get one hand in the water really, really communicates what it would be like for you to get all the way in there and enjoy that warmth.
Yeah, it's such a life changing situation. So, the topic of our show today is, we're definitely going to talk about cold weather and usage of a hot tub. Before we get too far in there, I do want to say hello to Cupcake 17834. Hello, welcome. And she is from Pennsylvania and she has a free flow mini and she's using chlorine. So that's absolutely awesome. We love that. And those are great hot tubs as well. And we're excited for you. And we're going to give you a few tips because up there in Pennsylvania, it gets pretty cold too. So that's what we got going on at the moment. But I want to talk about a few things, especially for those of you who are thinking about buying a hot tub, especially those of you who live in the Midwest or anywhere where the weather is changing. I mean, you definitely want to look at something that's insulated. I sell a few hot tubs that aren't insulated, and I sell hot tubs that are very well insulated. I mean, we're talking about the free flows or the fantasy spas, anything that Watkins makes. The Limelight series with the fiber core insulation, and the High Life series with the full foam insulation. I guess Bren, tell me a little bit. How important is that, and why do you stress it in North Dakota of all places?
Well, one of our theme of our business, if you want to call it that, or what we do, and it's actually on some of of our uniforms and shirts that we wear as we are in our stores, is every day made better. And we talk about it a lot, and we want to live it ourselves. But the one word in that little expression, every day made better, that doesn't get as much attention is the word every day. So if you live in a place like Pennsylvania or Minnesota or North Dakota or South Dakota, where it's really, really cold, and you want to have this product so that you can live your everyday made better, it has to be what Jackie said, insulated to work every day outdoors when it's actually this cold outside. So you mentioned one of your viewers has a free flow hot tub. Those free flows are great because they're fully insulated. So you think about uh, anything you're going to keep water 102, 103 degrees in, and you're going to have it out at some sub-zero temperatures. It's if that's the way you want to use it, and you're looking for everyday made better in an outside environment, then yes, anything you have is going to have insulation. And we've just decided our business, the only thing we're going to sell are our tubs that are insulated to work over the long term, over decades, in this cold environment. So you just think about anything else. Think about your home. If you live in a cold area, you wouldn't think of having a home that's not insulated. It wouldn't be sustainable to run a furnace in a home that's not insulated. It would cost you too much. You'd be fighting the cold all the time. So with a hot tub, it's even more important. And when customers are considering these things, when they're deciding on what to purchase, I like to take them to a place called Common Senseville. You ever been there, Jackie? Common Senseville?
Once in my life. It wasn't very fun,
yes.
But
it's a place we like to go when we're considering these things. And in Common Senseville, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you won the lottery last week. No one wants a $400 or $500 electricity bill trying to keep 500 gallons of water warm outdoors. So the only way you're going to get that down is to have a few key things in place, and one of which is what you touched on, insulation. And there's other things that you can get on your hot tub that will contribute toward keeping your energy bill down while you're using it in the winter. And one of the things that we want to have on the products that we connect with our customers is better energy. And we want your energy bill to be lower, and we don't want there to be any barrier or any excuse as to why you can't leave it running all winter so you can use it every day, so you too can have your everyday made better.
And that's a huge deal. Those of you who are on the stream here, just let us know in the chat where you're from, if you use your hot tub year round, what's kind of going on there, just so we can kind of cater this to you guys a little bit. But those are definitely some huge things in insulation. And the other thing that's a big deal as far as winter use is covers. I mean, let's talk about that a little bit. I mean, how important are covers, and having a new cover, I'm opening it up. What is your advice on covers?
It's possibly one of the most important things to keeping your energy in your tub. So the cover is very important. As we know, heat rises, right? So the heat wants to go out the top. So if you've had a hot tub for a while and you're noticing that you're not getting a good seal on your cover, and you're going to know that in cold weather by seeing evaporation coming out the top. You might notice it by dripping out the side of your where your cover meets your hot tub. If icicles are forming, that means you're losing heat out the top of your cover, which in turn means you're literally losing money. So it's important all winter long to make sure when you shut your hot tub cover that it seals up so you don't have any of that. You'll know you have your cover's doing that, but sometimes by the weight of it. If your cover is starting to
Mm.
get too heavy, it could mean that it's seen its better days. It's taking on moisture inside the foam of the cover. They start to get heavy, and when they start to get heavy, they don't seal as well. So one of the best things, one of the in the top 5 of what you can do to keep your hot tub in good shape is to occasionally do a cover inspection, make sure it's sealing well, and make sure that you're not losing any heat out the top end of it. On the covers that we sell, that they're a closed cell polyurethane foam that actually offers over a 20 um, insulation factor. So it's real important on our end. And if you've got snow falling on your cover and it's melting, that's another good indication that your cover needs to be looked at because you're losing heat out the top. It should insulate it well enough so that snow and ice can stay on the top of the cover and not melt.
That's a good tip. I don't tell my customers that. I knew that, but that's not something that I necessarily tell my customers about. If you're not holding enough insulation to keep the snow from melting, it's probably time to start looking at a new one. Now, I would, remind everyone that covers are definitely something that has gotten in trouble with the whole supply chain issue that's going on. I believe, what is it, 20-25 weeks right now to get a cover, something like that. It's better than it was, but
I
it's
think what's going on in our industry is they're trying to keep up with demand for new spas at the same time trying to keep up with the demand for replacement covers. And yeah, we are seeing a little bottlenecking there. So this year, especially, we've noticed people are looking at certain hot tub cover alternatives, and so we've seen more of those transactions through our business than we normally have. And I'm talking about other products that we carry, such as the Cabana cover, as well as the Smarttop cover.
um let's talk about that a little bit. Smarttop, what's how are those doing for you? What exactly are those? I don't have any. I wasn't prepared for that one, but let's talk about that a little bit. The Smarttop, and then we'll talk about the Cabana.
So Smarttop is they're a manufacturer out of the West Coast that manufactures covers for all brands of hot tubs. It's essentially a hard it's a manufactured cover that has a hard surface on it. It looks like it's made out of the same materials like a Trex material for your deck, and it's insulated in between. So if you're in a situation where you want to or need to be able to walk on top of your cover, that would be this is a type of cover that could support weight. We don't recommend you doing that with the standard uh, foam cover that typically comes with the hot tubs that we sell. And then it has a little hydraulic component that makes opening and closing the cover very easy, nearly hands free. Those are a nice option. You're going to pay a little more for a hard top cover than you would for the standard cover that foam cover that comes with a hot tub. They are heavier and they require a little bit more on the install to make sure that the brackets can support the weight of that cover. But then again, they do last longer. Investment wise, you're going to get a few more years out of that cover than you are out of a standard cover. But it is a nice option, especially for folks that live in colder climates where that can be harder on the standard foam cover that comes with most of the hot tubs we sell.
Yeah, I think the freeze thaw on those foam covers definitely shortens the life on them a little bit. So, but the Smart Tops do last longer, quite a bit, don't they? It's about double the.
They they do. They in fact they're warranted longer as well. They're just made of a more durable material that's going to stand up not only to the winter cold months but also to the sun and even sun and hot temperatures can be hard on the cover. I mean, we sell probably the highest end standard cover with our
For sure.
Watkins made products. But even those, they're wrapped in vinyl, and the better you take care of that vinyl, the longer it's going to last. But in direct sunlight and direct exposure to rain and snow and ice, like we tell our customers, typically your cover is going to last 3 to 5 years. Um, Understanding that it is a component that, if you stick with the standard cover, is going to be needed to be replaced a few times over the course of the life of the hot tub, where the smart tops, in many cases, people are getting 10 plus years out of a smart top cover.
Which is awesome. I mean, that's because I would, like you said, 4 to 7 years is all you're ever going to get out of those foam covers, and they are a little bit of a challenge to replace at the moment. But if you can get 10 years out of a smart top, that's awesome. So, and
I like to have people compare it to even the material that they would utilize in building the deck itself. You could do green treated, you could do Trex, depending on what material you choose is going to determine how much maintenance it takes. So a wood deck is going to require more sealing and more attention than a synthetic product like a Trex material. And same thing with the covers. The vinyl is going to require a little more attention. You'd want to. There's some products you could use to condition that material and make it last longer than a Trex material or a synthetic material that those smart tops are built from.
oh, that makes total sense. And then let's talk about Cabanas a little bit. That's Cupcake. We're going to get to you here in just a second, but I want to visit a little bit on Cabanas. I personally feel that those are one of the greatest inventions ever. I'm going to see if I can pull a picture up here. Well, there's the website if anybody wants to check that out, but there's a picture of it that I've got pulled up here, and it's Vince out, or I keep calling you Vince. Ben, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's just a oasis that's up with shades on it. So
yeah, we really got it. We started carrying Cabanas approximately 10 years ago at our business in North Dakota, and it's really changed the way some people, a lot of our customers, look at the hot tub. It's an automated cover, so it hooks up electronically to a 110 outlet, and it automates the whole opening and closing of your hot tub cover, which for not only winter months is awesome, but for our customers that are maybe handicapped and can't operate the standard cover, folding it and setting it off the hot tub, on or off a cover cradle, it allows you hand-free operation of your cover. We like the Cabanas because they're insulated really well. They're made of really durable acrylic that doesn't weather, and it also offers protection from the wind, the cold, and privacy if you want it. I think they're available in all 50 states, and especially for us up here where it's really cold and windy, we found that customers that invest in a Cabana actually use their hot tub more. They don't have that quick subconscious decision that after looking out the window that it's too cold and windy out to use the hot tub. They don't even think about that because the cover opens automatically, and then they can sit in the hot tub and completely eliminate the wind factor. So when we're talking cold weather use and wanting to use your hot tub every day, if the barrier for you is getting from your back door to your hot tub, and we know how cold wind can be, the Cabana will eliminate that. So that's something you maybe want to take a hard look at. It works for just about every hot tub. There are a few models that are too small, and there's for that to really make sense. But for, I would say, at least 90-95% of any manufactured hot tub that we deal with, they work great. And,
I would say, I'd say even 97-98% hot tubs that are out there. The thing that I find that's really cool and that my customers love is it's keyed. So the switch on it is a keyed switch. So you put that key in and you can open and close it from there. And then if you're leaving town or something like that, you can take that key with you, which some people like to know that they have total control of their hot tub and nobody can get in it when they're not around. Or if you got a lot of teenagers at home and you don't want them in the hot tub, it works well for that as well. But that works really well. And then that seal that goes around the top, which seals that moisture in really well. they're a good option. I mean, they're definitely a good option, and they just look cool. And the fact that there's some with peaked roofed and some with peaked roofs and some with flat roofs. But the peaked roof ones, the snow just comes right off. For those of us in the Midwest, that's actually a really good option, is to
Yes,
have that peaked roof, and then you can get
I
lights in it and all kinds of stuff. It's really pretty cool. So
I stopped into your store when I was in into your one of your stores when I was in South Dakota a few weeks ago, and you had one on display. We have one on display at our showroom, but if you live in an area and you want to check it out from home, their website is all inclusive, and they've got pictures and videos of all their models, so you can actually see them working.
and it's pretty, they do, it's very, very cool. And again, their website, for those of you listening on the podcast, is www.cabana.com. That's covana.com. That link will be in the show notes, and it will also be in the description here on YouTube, so you can definitely check that out there. But if that's something you guys want to check out, I highly recommend it. Let's go back here. We want to get rid of that. And real quick, Frank says we need a new cover soon. Yes, honey, I know it's been on order for a while now. So I'm even connected, and I can't get a cover at the moment, but it is on the way. We will see it soon. We're gonna go back here to Cupcakes 17834. She has, with having a 120-gallon hot tub, it seems to be hard to keep it clean in the winter. It gets cloudy and tricks to make it last until spring to change the water. So she's got a smaller hot tub.
Yeah,
And it's getting
that's a
cloudy
good.
and
That,
just trying
that's
to
a
make
really
it.
good, and that's actually a really common question and good question there. In the winter, it can be a little more challenging. The single most important thing we've found to keep your water clear any time of year. But what ends up happening is it doesn't happen as often in the winter as it does in the summer. Is keep your filter clean. And
Absolutely.
filter cleaning seems like just because of the weather can take a back seat, but then no, your water can be unforgiving there. So I'm familiar with that brand of tub. That's one that we sell at our business, and one of the one of the drawbacks of having a hot tub that small is it does have a smaller filter on it. So um, we found that a lot of our customers have had good luck actually getting an extra filter or two, brand new one, rotating it through in the winter months, not throwing the old one away, but then taking it in and at your convenience, spend a little more time cleaning it. What we recommend is you actually soak it in a recommended filter cleaner or filter degreaser. I think the directions on the one we sell says soak it for at least 4 hours. I'll let mine a lot of times soak overnight in that solution, and then I'll rinse it out real good. The more often you do that, the cleaner your water is going to be. But the challenge is sometimes it's too cold. You don't want to go out and do that in the cold. So if you can bring that, if you have an extra one or two, then you have the time to bring the dirty one in and clean it inside the warmth of your home. But that's one thing I've found in the winter that makes one of the biggest impacts on my water clarity is being very vigilant with cleaning the filter.
Yeah, and I agree with that completely. In fact, with my hot tub at home is I always make sure that when the winter starts that I have at least 3 sets of filters ready to go. So I have one in the hot tub, I have one soaking in the cleaner, and I have one that's dried and clean and ready to go. And then once a month I just start rotating those out, and because I really can't clean my filters when it's this cold out. Now there is Cupcake, if you check out my video, winter hot tub accessory tips, that's a really good video, and I've got a lot of hints in there. But unless you have an indoor faucet of some sort, you really want to clean that faucet really well. And there's a little adapter you can get from like Menards or Ace Hardware or any local hardware store. I got mine on Amazon. There is links in that video, but you just attach it to your sink, your bathroom sink, whatever faucet that you can, and then I just use a collapsible hose so that I can clean that out. And then I actually do mine in the garage because I do have a drain in the garage, but you could do it in the bathtub or wherever. But it is definitely our number one service call, hands down. Hands down, is a dirty filter. And the last time you and I got together and wanted to visit, it was like bitter cold. I want to say wind chills, it was 40 below when you and I talked. And that Monday or Tuesday, I think it was Monday, we had 16 hot tubs that called that were not working from over the weekend, because Saturday it got back up to like 35, 40 degrees. And that's the first time anybody checked their hot tub. And every single one was due to a dirty filter. And we talk about it all the time. Clean your filters, clean your filters, clean your filters, clean your filters. And especially in the winter months, those of us who live in freezing environments, you have to check those filters a minimum of once a month. And I'm not kidding when I say once a month, but you need to look at your hot tub at least once a week. I'm hoping you're using it every single day, but you need to look at it at least once a week. So I have never seen a hot tub freeze in less than 7 days. At least the brands that I sell. There are brands out there that will freeze that quicker than that when it's cold out. But if you're at 101 degrees, you've got a good 7 to 14 days before that hot tub's going to freeze. And I personally have gone through that. I mean, I was in a ice storm back in Nebraska one time when we lost power for 14 days. And we didn't have one hot spring hot tub freeze in that time frame, but we were defrosting hot tubs everywhere. And we had one that was about 200 miles away because it was a real a remote area. And we were on our way out to defrost him with a generator, or not defrost him, winterize him with a generator. And he called us on the way out there, and he was 33 degrees on day 13, and it was 0 that entire time. So if you take care of your hot tub and you maintain it well, you're never going to have the issue of that hot tub freezing. But
the other thing too, I've noticed this time of year, Jackie, and especially up here with this year, as we're getting an extended winter and people are trying to get more time out of their water. It's just so cold. They don't want to go out and do a flush and fill that we would normally recommend. And so they're trying to buy another month out of water that probably by right should be flushed and refilled. So if you're trying to get more days, weeks, and months out of your water, and you know your filters are clean, and you're still fighting water clarity issues, I would take a hard look at maybe doing a hard shock of your water with a good, spa shock or spa oxidizer, and getting your chlorine numbers right. You want your free chlorine up and your total chlorine to match that. So sometimes that entails, if you're not going to flush and fill, shocking and then resanitizing your water. You'll get your clarity back.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. So you can sneak it along, but definitely make sure that chlorine level is where it's supposed to be. And in fact, that's what I'm doing with my hot tub right now as we speak. I was out there and my salt cell needed to be changed, and I just decided it needed a really good chlorine shock, not a non-chlorine shock, but a chlorine shock, because it was going to get away from me really quickly if I didn't do something with it. And so extra chlorine on that. And then water level is the other piece of that. That's huge. If you're trying to sneak that water along, and especially Cupcake where you've got a smaller hot tub, when you start losing water to evaporation and splash out, that plays a huge factor. And if you don't have enough water going into that filter, it makes it even harder to keep it clean and keep it heated. So, and you lose a lot more water in the colder weather than you do when it's warmer out. So that's a big deal. Make sure that water level. My biggest tips are: 1, clean your filter; 2, keep your water level where it needs to be; and 3, keep your water balanced. And hopefully you have a dealer in the area that has a good water lab that allows you to bring your water in. If not, you can always use a test strip and figure it out that way. And then of course there's always the eye care, which is awesome too. So
In our showrooms, Hot Tub Lady, we recommend one or two flush and fills a year with most of our tubs. But the smaller ones, and the mini is one of the smallest ones we sell, we recommend 3 or 4 flushes and fills
Oh, for
per
sure.
year. And it's we know we understand it's a little harder and trickier to do that in the winter, but that could very well possibly be. And I don't know how old that particular tub's water is, but that actually might be what the tub needs is just a fresh fill.
Right. But there are times, we actually encourage in our market, we really want to try to get people to change their water sometime between, we used to say between Thanksgiving and Christmas, but it's kind of shifted and it's gotten too cold between Thanksgiving and Christmas now. So now we say between Halloween and Thanksgiving to change your hot tub, and hopefully that'll get you through till about now. And this would be a good time where you're actually going to have to change your water is this time of year. We've had a couple of nice days that you could have done it in our market, but like next week is not the week to do it. It's going to be super cold. You and I were discussing right before we got on. I don't even think you're getting above zero, are you, next week? And then
I was just looking at our forecast. We Friday our low is 15 below zero and our high is 4 above.
okay,
So
so you're not getting
even
above.
for where we live, even where we live, that's cold in the late into mid March,
It
and
is.
it is what and we have. So we have many of our folks in many years I've been doing this would have already changed their water out this spring. It'd be nice enough to do that, but probably not this year. So that's a great question she had. It's a great thing to talk about. Is they're gonna be asking how to extend their water life. Because it's just too cold to want to have to flush and refill. So we'll make sure they understand the importance of shocking your water once in a while and then resanitizing to keep that clarity. And then again, repeating ourselves, double sure your filter is really clean.
So and of course on that mini, you definitely want to have some spares because you're going to have to clean your filter twice as often just because it is quite a bit smaller filter. It does make a big difference. So, but it's a really good hot tub. In fact, she just responded, and Cupcake says, "Thank you. It's a small, but my husband and I love it very much. You have to love it. It is a fantastic hot tub. It's one of our best sellers. I mean, we sell a ton of that hot tub, just because of its size and its convenience, and it's a great hot tub. We do sell a ton of it. It's just a little more work than some of the other ones, and that's just because it is smaller. But what other tips do you have for just in general? Just what's the conversations you have every single day in your showroom about hot tubs this time of year?
Well, the biggest one we have with our customers, and it's so important, is to make sure they're vigilant about checking on their hot tub because the nightmare scenario or the worst case situation with a hot tub in our climate is if it shuts off or you lose power to it or it gets plugged up and we're not keeping that water moving through the heater, and you're not monitoring it, you're going to have a situation where your water can freeze. And if you want to talk about a nightmare, frozen water in a hot tub is usually a death knell for a hot tub. When the
Worst thing that
lines
can
start to
happen to it.
freeze, bursting can happen, leaking can happen. We've we've seen it all here we've been in business a long time, and if it gets to the point where you've got ice in your hot tub, you got a real problem, and usually that's a very expensive problem. So with all hot tubs, not just the little ones, you really want to make sure your filters are clean. A lot of the hot tubs we sell, there's a feature built into the hot tub, whereas if it notices low flow to the heater, it will put the hot tub into protection mode to save the heater. Now, if you're 85% of the population in the United States, where it's not cold enough to freeze your hot tub, that's not a big deal. But if you live where we live and you live where Hot Tub Lady lives, it's a major deal. So I know she talks about eye care and different products that will allow you to monitor your hot tub remotely no matter where you're at. Many of the models we sell have indicator lights on the outside of the
Mm-hmm.
hot tub. Those are great in the winter, so you can just at a glance look at your hot tub and make sure that it's working and functioning properly. but but what we want to avoid is anything causing the hot tub to turn off. And the number one culprit, again, we've already been talking about it, is dirty filters. So if I know I'm going to be gone for a while and I'm lucky enough to get a vacation this year while it's cold, I will take an extra hard look or probably replace the filter on my hot tub that's connected to the circ pump, so I don't have to worry about the hot tub going into protection mode or running into any issues while I'm gone, because I do not want it to freeze. So that, and then once if you do have an issue and you do lose power or your water temperature is falling, then we make sure our customers understand they need to take action immediately. So we provide actually emergency kits for our customers. They can
Mm-hmm.
drop a temporary heater in the water to keep it from freezing. Um, we have a dedicated service staff with an emergency line. We can schedule a call from one of our techs to either figure out how it's going to how we can get it going again, or actually just winterize the hot tub on short notice. And what that entail and all that entails, we could talk about that. But we're talking about cold weather hot tubbing. We're talking about the investment you have in your hot tub. You just want to make sure you monitor it, because if it loses power, you're on the clock for getting it you can't just take care of it at your convenience. You have to act.
No, and you have to act soon. We actually had a customer. I have never seen this, and you guys, I've been selling hot tubs for 30 years. We had a hot tub this weekend, which means that it really got abused, but the hot tub actually buckled. So in the filter compartment, the where that little ring where that holds the lid literally snapped in half and buckled and cracked it all the way down. That hot tub is totaled. There's no saving that hot tub. It's done. It's over. Hopefully their insurance company will cover it, but there is no salvaging that hot tub in any way, shape, or form. But one of the things, if you know, we have freeze guard kits at our store too, and I know I've talked to you guys about these a lot, but those are those submersible heaters that you can put in the water, and then a space heater that you can put down by the equipment compartment. That is something that you guys really need to have in your garage. I have a lot of friends up here in my market, so I actually live 90 miles from the store, and I had 5 people call and ask me to borrow my freeze guard kit last weekend. I only had one. So four people were out of luck. So just give yourself a little peace of mind, and just, they're really inexpensive right now. They're way cheaper than they ever have been. You can get a submersible heater for like $55 right now, and that is totally 100% worth it. I'll put a link down in the notes on that as well. Again, we have them at our. I'm sorry.
We started stocking those too at our locations, and if we're out of them, usually you can find those in our area at what we call like a fleet farm or a fleet and farm. Mm-hmm. Some hardware stores carry them.
Running something like that. Most of them, it's a they use them a lot in stock tanks. So that's kind of what they were invented for, was to keep the water heated in stock tanks. Now, there are some that only keep them about 35 degrees. We try to get people to get the ones that'll heat it all the way to 100. They're not a solution, but they will solve the problem until somebody can get to you. And it's just a really good way to just protect yourself, and then you just have it. You may never need it. You may never need it ever, but it's the best insurance that you could possibly have, and is my personal opinion. And I'm far enough away from the store right now that if something were to happen to my hot tub, I can't get to the store in time to do what I need to do. So that's why I just have all this in my garage, so I'm ready. And then, of course, I'm taking care of a lot of local people in the area as well. So, I mean, that's a big deal. And then the other thing that we talked about, you talked about the indicator light and how that works. One of the things that I do is I actually have, you can do any brand you want, but I did Blink from Amazon. Super inexpensive. You don't need any special wiring, but it's an outdoor camera that you can put on the indicator light of your hot tub, and it sends it to your phone. I think I have $50 invested into the whole thing, but it actually goes to my phone, and I can actually see the light if anything's blinking or not. So if you didn't want to do the eye care or something like that, you can actually have a camera on that in case you're not at home or you're out of town or something like that. And if something were to happen, I could just have one of the neighbors go pull the filter out, because that's probably what, if it is blinking, that's probably what's causing it, and that's a big deal. Another thing that can and will happen when those hot tubs go into freeze protection mode or protection mode, they will pop the end off of the heater and actually drain those hot tubs. So in most markets, that's a really good thing. In our market, that's not a good thing. It's because it doesn't get all the water out. So what it does is it protects the hot tub from doing like what I talked about on that last one, where the tub actually buckled. But what it does is it kicks the end of that heater off, drains the hot tub or most of the water out of the hot tub, and keeps it from cracking the shell, but it doesn't protect the plumbing. So you don't ever want to get to the point where it actually starts draining. So
Yeah, and that's something to consider too. If you're in the market for a hot tub, you haven't bought one yet, some of the lines we sell have indicator lights on the outside of them, and some of them don't. If you own a Limelight level hot tub in the hot springs world, or a High Life level hot tub, you know that green light when the actual water temperature is more than 2 degrees off the set temperature, that green light will turn off. And I think some of your watchers, listeners, probably have Caldera hot tubs. I know they have an indicator system, but that's something to consider if you live in a cold weather part of the country, and you're trying to make a decision between which hot tub to get. Those indicator lights are very handy in cold weather to keep an eye on your hot tub and not have to physically go out to it to check the water temperature.
yeah, they're awesome. And if you don't want to do, when I'm selling the hot tub and we're trying to situate it, we always try to get it situated so they can get that light where they can just see it out a window and they don't actually have to go out and look at the hot tub. But sometimes you can't do that, and so we'll actually position a mirror, up high where it can angle in so that you could look at that mirror from a certain angle, so that and that's all on the customer, but it's just something that we do if they can't get that light right where they can see it out the window. So that's kind of a big deal. We've got Dan. Dan's from Omaha. Go Big Red. I'm a Nebraska girl myself. Just found your channel and love your info. Parents gave me their 2012 Hot Springs Pulse. Lucky you. Hey, that's worth some confetti. We're gonna give you
Great
some
hot
confetti
tub.
and some horn. He's got more stuff, but we got to go through the rules here. Sorry if I blew your ears there. But anyway, he's got. Let's see if he's got a question. Anyway, got the Pulse. My wife and kiddos love it. It's great content. You do have an awesome hot tub. So I'm curious if you got salt in that, or if because that would be the older ACE system. But that is a phenomenal hot tub, and congratulations on getting that. That's welcome to the hot tub world. We're glad you're here, and hope that you totally love that and use that hot tub every single day, because
The Pulse is insulated very well.
yeah, it's a good hot tub. It's a good hot tub for Nebraska for sure. So okay, so we got about 15, not quite 50, about 12, 15 minutes left to talk here. Is there any other topics that you feel that we've missed on cold water hot tubbing and that type of thing?
No, just the fun stuff. And I got a chance to talk to a few customers at the show this weekend that are excited to be getting their hot tub delivered here in the next week or two. So one of the things I did mention to them, being new to hot tubbing, is they may want to invest in maybe like a Crocs or a Crocs type of shoe. Those rubber Crocs are almost perfect for getting to and from your hot tub in really cold months. As long as, for as many years as I've been using the hot tub, and I use it a lot in the winter, the bottoms of my feet have never acclimated to the cold ground or even ice that I have to walk on to get out to my hot tub. So either a cheap pair of shoes that you don't mind getting wet, or even better, something that like a Croc that kind of grips the ground. That's something that I would look into. You're going to find out that you might need something like that. Another thing too, you don't think of in the winter, is when you're getting in and out of the hot tub, sometimes you're dragging a little water with you out of the hot tub. That water ends up on your steps. It ends up on the trail between your hot tub and your back door, or your front door, wherever your hot tub is. And that can be really slippery. So it sounds like one of those things that wouldn't be a big deal, but it actually can be. So you want to make sure that you have, um, maybe some salt or something to keep it so you're safe getting to and from your hot tub. I know some of our customers have found products that they can actually plug in, and they look like mats, like doorway mats, that keep
Yep.
a dry trail from to and from their door.
A heated
But
dry
those
trail.
exactly. Do you have those, hot
I
tub
have
lady?
those.
You do. Okay.
They were the out of everything I have ever bought for my hot tub that I don't sell, that has been the best invention ever.
What are they called?
The ones I have, they're called roof. It's roof snow melting mat is the one I got. There's a really good brand out there.
It's a heated pad that you can daisy chain
That's
all
called
along the
Heat
sidewalk.
Track.
Okay.
Those are
Okay.
called Heat Track, and they can actually they sell real thin ones that you can put on the stair treads of your steps, and I think
Yes.
that is a really really good way to go. They are absolutely awesome. This whole winter I had a heated path to my hot tub, and I hot tub every day no matter what. The only thing that'll maybe stop me is wind, but I don't have a pair of Crocs. I would just run out barefoot, and sometimes your feet will stick to the ground and freeze instantly. So that was probably a big deal. So these heated pads, the best, the absolute best. And I'll put a link. I don't have it down there now, but I will put a link. I'm going to write myself a note right now, but I'll put a link down in the show notes where you guys can get those. But they are absolutely awesome. If you're going to invest in anything, I suggest you do that. And I really think we as hot tub dealers need to be selling those in our stores because they're pretty cool.
I've had customers ask me as well, as they're new to it, if your hair will really freeze on certain days when you're using the hot tub, depending on what else is happening. And no, you can't freeze your hair won't fall off from freezing. So, and it's fine if you want to wear a stocking cap or something on your head. I don't, but it doesn't hurt anything if uh, but people people sometimes wonder, can that cause damage to my hair? They don't want that to happen, and I've never heard of that ever happening.
No, and my hair is frozen hundreds of times and hundreds of times. And the kids will get in there and they'll dunk their heads under the water and then they'll make big shark fins and mohawks and all of that. No, it won't cause. I mean, I suppose if you tried to break it while it was frozen and standing up, that might cause some damage, but no, you'll be fine. I recommend, especially the females with longer hair and the males with longer hair, just put it up in a bin and put it up in a rubber band. And I always wear a stocking hat because your ears get cold out there. I mean, people don't think about that. They don't think that you can actually wear a stocking hat while you're hot tubbing, but it works fantastic. It's actually a really, really good thing to do. And I mean, we have a pile of stocking hats right by the hot tub just to use. So in case you forget, they're just right there. So
For us, the last thing that we recommend then is if you're, for whatever reason, gonna head south for the winter, not use your hot tub, not be home at all, we recommend you keep it going and use it every day. But if you're just not going to, then you need to understand you need to winterize your hot tub in the winter months. Mm-hmm. And if you go on YouTube, there's lots of videos on how to do it. I would recommend to anyone that I sell a hot tub to have a good dealer like us do it for you. We'll make sure it gets done right. Our guys will use the right products, a little bit of what we call RV antifreeze, and make sure everything's blown out appropriately and properly and thoroughly. That way, you can come back in the spring and fire everything up, and it's good to go. If you do it wrong, you can run the risk of having a frozen line inadvertently. That can cause damage, which can be an expensive repair. So it's not a super complicated procedure, but the life of your hot tub depends on it. So if you're one of those folks that for sure aren't going to use it, you just can't leave it. You need to have that done. It's just a reminder for new folks that maybe aren't thinking about that.
And don't just drain it. If you just drain it and think it's okay, it's not going to be okay. It's definitely not going to be okay. It's really important that you do get it winterized. You need to blow out the lines. You need to put antifreeze in those lines. And that's a really important step. I get a lot of people, sometimes that'll drain it in the summer and thinking that they aren't going to, that they're going to fill it back up in the winter. And sometimes they just drained it and didn't do anything with it. If you don't get it filled back up before the freeze, you can actually cause a lot of serious damage to your hot tub. So anytime you think the hot tub's going to freeze, it's really important that you winterize that if you drain it for any period of time. So we actually have quite a few comments to catch up on here. Dan again from Omaha. He says he's got a salt system, so he's on the ACE system and figuring out how to keep things balanced. And then his next comment is I'm finding that my salt cell can't keep up. Should I do a floater with some chlorine tablets, and do I do a weekly shock as well? So you want to jump on that, and
I very rarely do I recommend a floater if in a hot tub, and not that you can never do it, but you just got to be careful about the type of chlorine that you're using in a floater. Most of the time, that's a trichlor product, which is absolutely not going to work in a hot tub. So
yeah, I never ever recommend chlorine floaters in hot tubs.
Yeah, if you insist on the floater, just make sure, double, triple sure that it's a dichlor product that's going in the floater. But yeah, new salt system. It takes a little bit for the tub, the system to figure you out, and a little bit for you to figure the system out. But I like to compare those salt systems on the hot spring products and the Caldera products. I like to compare them to like a sprinkler system for your lawn. Your sprinkler system doesn't understand if your grass is brown or if your grass is green, right? It just knows when to come on and how long to run. That's how a salt system works on a hot tub. It doesn't know if your water's cloudy or if your water's clear. You need to set the output level on that system to make sure that it's manufacturing enough sanitizer to keep your water clear. So a lot of times I'll just recommend folks err on the high side. So set your level high. It'll keep your water clear for a while, and then you can gradually over time back it down. And if you back it down far enough, you'll figure out kind of where the line is based on your use to keep the water clear. But those ACE systems are great. I still have an ACE system on my hot tub. And for me, it was just a matter of figuring out what output level I had to run that at consistently to keep the water clear for me. In my case, I'm an empty nester. I'm mainly the only one that uses my hot tub, so I can run mine at a lower level. But if you're new to the hot tub and you're using it a lot, or you have kids and a larger family than I do, you may need to run that a little higher. And yes, if you have to add a little chlorine to the water on top of that salt system, it doesn't hurt a thing.
Yeah, I'd agree. And excuse me, a reality is, so those chlorine systems, they really only generate about 1.5 teaspoons of chlorine in a 24-hour period. And if you're behind in any way, shape, or form, that salt system is never, ever, ever going to catch up. So I'm with Ben. I never tell people to put in a chlorine floater. If you're ever going to do a floater and you want to switch, I would tell you to go to bromine, but I wouldn't do a chlorine floater. And I think you're better off adding some chlorine concentrate, or if you want to abandon the salt system, you could do a frog system along with that. I do have a couple people that'll actually do some frog cartridges in their salt systems. I think that's overkill, and I don't think you need to do that, but it is out there. A few people do that. And that's a silver cartridge if you wanted to go that route. But I'm guessing you're just behind and it's not keeping up. And for my customers, I actually recommend like 2 to 3 tablespoons of chlorine every day, their first 3 days, just to get that water clean and running. So I don't know if that's helpful for you or not, but I think that's something that might help. I definitely wouldn't do the chlorine floater. So that's what we got going on there. We've got Lisa. Hey, Lisa, welcome to the stream. Good afternoon. We've been enjoying our Catalina spa for about 3 weeks now. Congratulations. That's new hot tubs get confetti, so we'll get you over there. Actually, I'm working on it. So there's your confetti and your horn. So congratulations. Welcome to the hot tub world. So she's had it for about 3 weeks now, and I've heard you mention insurance. Should I check with my homeowner's insurance agent? I would recommend doing it. If it's a 220 hot tub, it should be covered. But every insurance agent is different. I don't feel you necessarily need to have liability on that hot tub, but I would check with your insurance company to make sure that it's covered in case of a freeze. And if they won't cover it, I would maybe find one that does. That's just my personal opinion, because I have seen a few that haven't been covered. Most of them are, I'd say 90% of them are. But in most 220 hot tubs are an extension of the home, and it should be covered under that. If it's a 110 hot tub, for sure, 100% mention it to your insurance agent. Do you have any thoughts on that, Ben?
Yeah, most of the time you're covered as long as it's 220 permanently connected to your home. Just like Hot Tub Lady said, if it's a 110, you better double check, and you may need a rider on your insurance. We have dealt with several customers over the years that have had emergencies where they weren't home. They lost power for whatever reason. Their hot tub froze. It was 220 connected to their home, and nearly every time the homeowner's insurance will pay replacement value for that hot tub. That's why you carry the insurance. So it's a real good thing just to make sure on the front end that you discuss with your insurance agent, and they'll be real clear about what that particular company or what that particular policy covers. But it's a good question, and it's when we do run into insurance, it's usually during the winter, during the cold months, when there's a problem.
Sure. There's about a 3-month period that we deal with insurance quite a bit, and then we don't deal with them the rest of the year. But it's not a bad idea to mention it to them and see what's going on. But if it's 220 hot tub, you should be covered.
And the best insurance you could have is, like we talked about earlier, a clean filter and maybe some sort of monitoring system and a tank heater. Like Jackie said, you can get a tank heater for $55. That's the cheapest insurance you're going to get to make sure your hot tub, no matter what, you can keep it from freezing.
Yeah, that's a big deal. Lisa also says, I've been having problems keeping my chlorine level up. Would it be a good idea to get a floater with chlorine tablets? Again, I think we kind of just talked about that. If you want to add more chlorine, you definitely can. I don't recommend chlorine tablets to anyone. If you want to add extra chlorine, I would do, if you really want to go to a floater system, I would do the Spa Frog Addies floater system. That if you want to stick with chlorine, that's actually a really, really good system, and it's a very simple system. If you go to my website, thehottublady.co, I have a whole bunch of cheat sheets on the Spa Frog, and I have a really good video on there as well. I will put that in the show notes as well for you to check out. If I don't leave myself notes, I forget. So we've got that. And then Jimbo's from Scotland. He says, I thought it was cold here in Scotland, but it sounds like it's tropical here now compared to what you were exposed to in the winter. Yes, Jimbo, we've had this discussion a couple times. They keep telling me it's cold there, but you are, I think you do have it quite a bit warmer than we do for sure. So I hope you got everything up and running and your hot tub is doing fantastic. He's got a brand new Vanguard, I believe. Frank says, great job, Ben. So, and then Lisa says, my tub is on chlorine and not the salt system. Yeah, Lisa, we understand that, but I still wouldn't do a chlorine tablet in that hot tub. It's very important not to do chlorine tablets. That creates a really acidic environment, and it's really, really hard on the hot tub. So
it'll keep your water clear, that's for sure, but at the same time, you're going to ruin your hot tubs. So that's the paradox there with the floaters.
Yeah, they are. The best way for me to describe it is I've never seen a clear or a cloudy bottle of muriatic acid, and if you do chlorine tablets, you're pretty much heading that direction as far as your pH and alkalinity, because it's really, really hard on a hot tub. I do not recommend it for anyone. So,
and insurance will not cover that if you ruin your hot tub with trichlor.
Not at all. They won't even. No, that's kind of like running your car out of oil. They're not going to let it go. So I think I got one. Okay. Dan says, thanks. I'll check in for the type of tablets. Great info on in understanding our needs. I'm setting it as 6. I will adjust it higher. Yeah, I would probably go higher on that. I go 7, 8 on that for sure, Dan. And Travis, Hi, hey Jackie. Question about salt. My eye care says my total dissolved solids are 2057, and my Jet Setter LX. How much water should I remove and lower and level, or is that an acceptable level? The question is what is your baseline? Because the eye care is actually measuring what your source water is plus the salt. So at 2057, you might be okay. So if you got if you got 500 parts per million of total dissolved solids before you even add the salt, you might be okay. Travis, if you want to reach out to me on Instagram, let me find that here. If you want to reach out to me here, Instagram, I will follow up with you offline on that. But it could seriously be just you might totally be okay. I would maybe use a test strip just to make sure, just to get your baseline. Once you get the baseline, I think we'll get you straightened out. And the biggest question is the saltwater system. Whoops, is the saltwater system telling you everything's okay? Is as long as it's the lights aren't blinking and it says the salt system's working, you might be okay. If you really are salt is really at 2,000 part per million, you're probably going to have to drain out about half, I would say, on a jet setter. But let's figure that out before you actually start draining. I don't know if you necessarily need to drain, so we may just need to make some adjustments on your eye care. And you can also share that eye care with me, and I can help you out with that way as well. So Ben, what else you got? I think we're all caught up.
Well, if we're getting toward the end here, I would just recommend for anyone who is not using their hot tub in the winter to start using it.
Oh,
make
absolutely.
it a regular part of your day. I've had to restart myself and get going and challenge myself to use it every day, only because I'm learning more and more every day about how good hot water submersion and hydrotherapy is for the human body. I have one funny story. I read hot tub related. It was in one of the newspapers out here in North Dakota. There's a ranch out in western North Dakota who basically built a giant hot tub for horses. And they've got these horses coming in from all over the country, Kentucky horse racing, big uh, rodeo horses, and essentially these horses are athletes, and so they're putting the horses into the hot tubs, giving them hydrotherapy, and then tracking their results after the therapy, and they're finding that they're going around the track faster, they're able to race more often because the recovery times are quicker. We know that hot tub use increases your recovery time from exercise and sports, and it's just incredible. So everybody, to be competitive now, has their horses getting hydrotherapy. The funny part of the article, though, was the lady who runs the ranch said after the horse had been in the hot tub a time or two, they were nipping at each other to budge in line to get into the hot tub because only one could go in at a time. So I just thought it was funny how these horses actually enjoy the hydrotherapy, and they're
Actually
fighting
fighting to get their spot in line.
To get back in line for their next session. So I just thought that was hilarious, but we know how true it is.
Yeah.
And we have, if we're on this program, we probably have a hot tub and access to it all year. So no matter how cold it is or what's happening, we want to make sure that we set it up so that we can still use it every day.
That's awesome, Ben. Thank you for sharing that. We have actually two more comments. Richard Bolden, welcome and congratulations. He's got an Envoy, and it is getting delivered on Thursday. Yay! Well, there's your all your shout outs there. It says Envoy with salt being delivered on Thursday. Calcium hardness from faucet of water test 51. Should I use the on the go to fill? Absolutely. I think you're gonna need it. It's easier to add hardness than it is to take it out. So I would 100% use the on the go to fill that hot tub. If you need to add it, it's just a couple teaspoons of calcium hardness increaser, and it's way easier to do that than it is to try to get it out afterwards. So 100% on that. Cupcake17834, thanks so much for hanging out. She says, loved watching this. Thanks for answering our questions and giving us tips. Absolutely. I love doing this. I am here every Monday, with the exception of the next two. I'm going to be on vacation, so I won't be around the next 2 weeks. But I will be back here very, very soon. I've got the Spa Frog people. They've got their engineer coming on to, I'm not sure what day they're coming. And then I got a new product. Hey, Ben, have you guys started using this yet? It's called See You Later.
I looked at those. No, we have not. Are you guys
so we just got them in, and I
those?
started using that, and I give out 4 of them to people just to try them out. And oh my gosh, within 72 hours, crystal clear water. Amazing. It's fixing the salt system. Phosphates it takes the metal out without doing anything with the phosphates. So they are, I recommend them. But anyway, I've got their engineer is going to be on the show here pretty soon. So if anybody's struggling with metal, this See You Later is a really, really good product, and I highly recommend it. I wanted to try it before I got too excited. Anyway, I've got all those guys coming on. But if you guys want to or need to support me, I would absolutely love that. You can always keep me caffeinated by buying me a coffee on Buy Me a Coffee at the Hot Tub Lady. Of course, you can always find me on Instagram. That's the best place to get a hold of me. So if you have a question or something you want to talk about, PM me, DM me on that, and I'll definitely help you out. And if you guys would not forget to subscribe, that would be great. Give me a thumbs up. Make sure everybody hits that thumbs up on the stream here today. That really helps out a lot. But I would really totally appreciate that. And don't forget to listen on the podcast. So Ben, this will be a podcast. I will probably try to get that loaded up by Wednesday, and we will get you taken care of there, and you can share that out. So Apple, Spotify, Audible, anywhere you listen to a podcast, this will be on the podcast. And if you guys are anybody subscribed to any of that, please make sure you give me a 5-star review on that. That helps so much. And Ben, thank you. I totally appreciate you being on here. And I know it took us a couple times to get this worked out, but you did absolutely fantastic, and we love it. And you know, you guys are awesome, and I totally appreciate everyone being here, and let's just all work on being happy hot tubbers, and thanks for watching. Bye.